Welcome to the preview, fuckers.
I will stand by the thing that I put in our group chat that Nick has caused more death in the history of man than anything else.
You are not wrong.
Yeah, I think
You are correct, sir.
Nick is completely caused death. You only watch all the horror films or true crime shows in the world, but being face to face with a dead body that gave birth to you.
Oh my god.
How are you supposed to? Yeah, think about how many thoughts your brain goes through, both conscious and subconscious, when you come upon any situation.
Oh, yeah.
For fuck's sake, you get a flat tire, there's that subconscious point in your brain that just sits there and goes, well, serial killer. Face to face with someone you argued with, someone you fought, but you still loved because they were your mother, and there's their dead body in front of you. Your first thought's going to be the last thing you said to them. You're telling someone, hey, if you give me $5,000, I can turn it into $40,000 in 2 weeks. Who's to say someone who's at the end of their rope who has that kind of money, being in AA, breaking down, losing money? This could have just been a drunken crime, too.
If you are not taken away by a black van, does that mean we can discount everything you just said?
Exactly.
Hey, fuckers, how's it going?
Hey, fuckers, how's it going? Do I need to
here.
grab the Pope hat? Is that what
You might. Welcome back to First Question and Dominique Does Life. It's me, Dominique, Sarah, and Matt.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Today, we're going to talk about some of the theories about who might have killed Barbie Hamburg and why. I've pulled some conversations from a string I started on Reddit on murder-on-middlebeach subreddit. I've pulled several theories that I thought were interesting. My post and what people are responding to is on who we think we can rule out. Who do you guys feel like we should rule out? And then once we've ruled it out, who do you think did it?
Well, first and foremost, when it comes to me, you have to rule out the daughter.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
she was
You're talking Allie.
yeah. Allie,
Okay.
I think we can rule out right off the bat, especially with the guidance counselor coming in and confirming the records of when she got there and everything. I think we can rule her out. Consensus vote on that?
Absolutely.
Pope Mattis the First.
Yep.
Decree right there.
Yeah, we decreed that Allie has been ruled out. People who've listened and have been talking with me about this, who've listened to our episode already, have pointed out that while Allie has an odd countenance about her, we cannot in any way suspect that she killed her mom. It just doesn't track. Like you said, the timeline doesn't track. Some Redditors have said the following. User Ramsey Snow Bolton. I love their name, by the way.
Yeah, Ramsey Snow Bolton. He, she, they, whatever they want to identify as.
They're a badass, basically.
Yeah, that's Game of Thrones. You know, defend the North Wall. Good for you.
Yeah,
good for you. Share some wine with Tyrion.
Yep.
And have a great time.
I'd like to think that we can rule out Madison. I do too.
Dude, go.
I was going to say, I would say Madison for sure is a rule out. Otherwise, he is the cockiest motherfucker to ever walk the planet.
True.
That is if either one of you have seen the new Harley Quinn show on the DC or the HBO network, they have Alan Tudyk playing the Joker.
Like him. Yeah.
Oh, he's awesome. But
Okay.
that is a him move right there. I'm going to make this whole documentary about who killed my mother. And,
That's true.
Yeah. But the whole time it was me.
It was me. That's true. I mean, that would be a ballsy move.
You know, the people who think Madison from Madison did it, you're living in a world of Nicolas Cage face-off.
Here's what we do. I go into the face-off machine, get a whole new face. Kia quarters because it costs 50 cents.
Or go pie?
No, because it doesn't exist.
Ramsey says, let's rule out Madison. And then several other users were like, yeah, definitely Madison and Allie are the only two that they feel like they can rule out. User AshDeb89 says, it's always the husband. I don't know if I can get on board with that.
90% of the time, it is the spouse.
Yeah, true.
My theory is that I think someone was trying to get back at Jeffrey and went after her.
That's possible.
Because he is sketchy. I think.
Yeah, that's possible.
I really don't think Jeffrey did it himself, because number one, that requires him actually working.
Pussy ass bitch.
Yeah.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with having a pussy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, no.
My pussy is stronger than your dick any day.
Pussies are strong. Hail Betty White. Yeah. Let's keep going.
He has mincy little scaredy balls. But if it wasn't someone trying to get back at Jeffrey, I think it was someone from her AA group.
See, I gotta say, I agree with you about Jeffrey, and we don't know what information was given to the shell corporations about him, especially going through a divorce.
Do they even have that information? You're right.
They don't know if they had that information. So what better way to strike back at a person who's lower than the kernel of corn that somehow made it through your digestive system and is still in the piece of crap that is floating in the toilet?
Yep.
We can all agree he's lower than that piece of corn.
Yeah, I think we can.
What's to say that someone didn't attack her on a misdirection or a miscommunication or misinformation?
Oh, yeah, true.
Plausible thing.
It's plausible.
I think he got his hands dirty. No, he looks like the kind of guy who would go into a machinist shop, see the grinder and the buffer, and think it's for his nails.
I think you're right about that, actually.
Yeah.
If nothing else, even if he were as calculating as a person could possibly be, I think his narcissism allegedly would speak up and be like, you know what? No, you don't need to put in all of that work. That's too much. You don't want to go to jail. Like you said, he's too lazy. He's too narcissistic.
He doesn't want to get his hands dirty, and why not let Moose and Rocco do it, who I can pay at the Home Depot for $40.
I'm not even sure if he actually had somebody do it.
I agree.
For the same reason why I don't think Jill did it.
Yeah.
Well,
sorry, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, no, but I want to track back for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sarah, you were bringing up after Colonel Corncrap McGee right there, the gifting tables. That's something that I really think happened and I think have a huge impact on this.
That ties into what another user was saying. Let me know if this feels like it makes sense to you, Matt, because this guy, Husky Guy 17, was saying...
Sounds bad.
I know.
That is such a bad handle.
I was thinking that too. I'm going to give you the doubt to say you like Husky Dogs.
Hansen, please save me.
Exactly. Come on, Chris Hansen. Actually, I think you're right about that. But yeah, this may or may not have been Chris Hansen commenting. All I'm saying. I mean, when the highlight of your career is your documentary on O'Neill.
Bob Ross without the fro, but let's keep going.
So Husky Guy 17, who I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt and say he really likes dogs.
There it is.
There we go. There we go. Recover. Good spin. Spin into the curve.
This is why I'm on all the political boards, because they need to spin about how wholesome people just like dogs. We're not talking about big dicks. We're not talking about weight. We're talking about dogs, okay?
Maybe he is owning his huskiness.
Yeah, maybe. He's like, I'm husky.
There we go.
I'm husky and I'm into it. And, it's a little extra cushion for the pushing.
Yeah.
And
I like how we went from lampooning to praising.
Yes.
So
Husky Guy likes his curves.
Yeah.
Loves his curves.
We love him too, okay?
Yes. Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. You rock it. Go for it.
I love that. Good one, Sarah.
There's the spin.
There's the good spin. I think you can rule out only Madison and Allie for sure. I don't think you can rule her out per se, but I also don't think Jill Platt had anything to do with it. So I think that leaves the husband, Jeffrey Hamburg, the aunt, Conway County Beach, or a third party aligned with, like you said, Matt, the husband's sketchy business dealings. I personally think it was either the husband through a third party he organized or a third party working to intimidate the husband through that party.
I'm on Husky Guys train right now.
Yeah.
Though I don't think it was Connie.
Sarah, I agree with you on the Husky Iditarod 5000 going on right now.
Husky guy has a husky.
It
works on 2 levels.
Yeah, it works on 2 levels.
God, I hope he listens to this and circles back and he's like, you guys totally see me.
I know. He's like, you got me. One of us.
Gobble. I think a lot of the evidence points to Jeffrey Hamburg. I think the Connie elements, there is some coincidence there that need to be explored. But shady business deals are shady business deals. And this guy went from being a millionaire to broker than us.
But he's not.
No,
he lives in fucking Manhattan.
That's
He's
true.
got a nice cushy car. No, he's fucking fine.
He probably got a golden parachute once they fired him from Southern Electric.
Yeah, he probably got a really nice severance package because that's how he opened up all of his shell companies and started laundering all of his money.
Allegedly.
I really like to see what I can find. I haven't been able to find a lot yet on what he's doing financially right now and where his money is.
His portfolio looks a lot like Donald Trump's.
Allegedly.
It is CDOs and bespoke tranches.
Allegedly.
Which are some of the shadiest things you can possibly put your money behind. And those were really popular before the economy collapsed in 2008. They're very shady. I don't know the specifics. I just know that that's where he's had his money historically. I just want to see what he's doing with it now and if he's still got his money behind all these CD bespoke tranches and CDOs. That, to me, that just screams I'm involved in criminal activities.
Right.
He's one of those guys who's going to disappear like Jimmy Hoffa.
Oh, very possibly.
This is kind of somebody who's going to disappear like Hoffa. You had your hand in that many pies. You didn't even wash your hands. They're still with the filth of the day.
And he's got so many what appear to be shady investments and dealings with shady people and so many shell corporations. Look, bottom line, you don't invent that many shell corporations to cover up nothing.
Right.
They're there for a reason.
You have to hide the money somewhere. It's the internet.
You're hiding money for a reason. If it were on the up and up, you wouldn't fucking need to hide it. I'm not like, shh, guys, don't tell anybody I'm investing in Bitcoin. Jeez. But this guy's like,
guys, don't tell anybody we have a Patreon.
Right. Don't tell anyone we have a Patreon.
Yeah.
Actually, that good segue.
Pope of the
Pope of the segue. Pope Matthew the First of segue. Daisy Madison 123 says she again doesn't think it was Allie. That seems to be the consensus on Reddit. The dad and Conway keep pointing to her and talking about Allie's problems. Ironic because the dad and Conway may have had a lot to do with her problems. Neither one show any empathy for a young girl who had her family ripped out from under her from such a young age. Allie is well aware of the dysfunction and they hate her for it. Wow.
Yeah.
I agree with Miss Daisy.
Daisy dropping knowledge. We can all agree, especially on the narcissism of the father.
God, yeah.
And him casting judgment. You look at narcissistic serial killers, people like a Ted Bundy. I think we all have seen the memes where the guy puts the plate in front of him like it's evidence, and the next picture is the guy hucking the plate across the room. That's the narcissism that we're looking at. Here's all the evidence. And they're like, nope.
Let me tell you why that's not true.
It's OJ level of I was in Chicago having a cheeseburger arrogance.
Right. And like you said, you bring up a good point. Narcissists, we're not diagnosing him. We're just saying his behavior is very narcissistic. But that's not a diagnosis, and it doesn't stand in place of a diagnosis. Allegedly. My opinion, I personally think he probably does fit the criteria for narcissism, but I can't diagnose him from afar, having never spoken to him. And even if I had spoken to him, I couldn't diagnose him. None of us could.
If you had spoken to him, you'd probably use a few more words that were more in the king's English.
His behavior does appear to be very consistent with narcissistic personality disorder. That's a fair statement to make. They do engage in a lot of whataboutism. So-and-so was killed at this time? What about? It's like, no. We're talking about when Barbie was killed. Well, what about? And it's like, no. We're talking about when Barbie was killed. You think I did it? Well,
but what about the reptilians?
Yes, exactly.
No. She was under cushions. She was stabbed multiple times.
Right.
Yeah, but what about the laser weapon that killed Princess Diana?
Right. Or what about those golfers back behind the house? It's like, no, we're talking about you. We're trying to establish your alibi.
But what about Obama having the weather weapon?
Yes. It's like, no, dude.
And that's the kind, like, we're being satirical, of course.
Right. But
what about he was pulling out?
Oh, for sure. And you can hear it.
He dismissed Madison from Madison. Yeah. Anytime and we talked about it in our previous episodes about, I just want to talk about this. Help me out, Dad.
Yeah.
I am not a father, but I am a father figure to 3 wonderful children.
Yeah.
And if they ever said, Dad, how come the whole right there, I'm going to do my best to explain it.
Right. Of course. And this guy just does.
Dismissal pisses me off.
Yeah, it is dismissal. That's
so
true.
Much.
It's constant dismissal. And Madison was even softballing him. He was like, okay, you don't have to talk about this and this. Like, I just want to have a conversation. He shuts him down every time. Does a loving father act that way? I don't think so.
No. Right. Look at douchebag of the fucking millennia, Chris Watts. I cannot wait to do that episode.
I can't either.
Because I'm about to pull my own brain and scrub it with bleach.
Mm-hmm.
I am so tired of Chris Watts' research. I am about to shoot my television. But moving on, look at narcissists. Look at douchebags. Look at those two. Compare and contrast them. Look at how much they just dismissed the abrupt, honest questions. What?
Yeah. True.
I don't want to talk about it.
It's like, okay, but
you're kidnapped.
If it was a stranger asking you or a reporter asking you, I could see being like, no comment, but it's your fucking kid and it's his mom. Oh my gosh. Why don't you want to, why don't you want to be there for your kid and help them deal with the death of their mom? That's so horrible.
It's awful. Mm-hmm. It's fucking awful.
It's so bad. Like, Mrs. Frizzle. I was thinking Ms. Frizzle, like the Magic School Bus.
Oh God, Magic School Bus Murder on Middle Beach episode.
Hell yeah. I am there. I am there for this.
Yes.
Dude, how's it going?
Oh God.
I have really good virus protection. That's what was going on here.
But you are this way.
I know. Give me a minute. I'm so close.
Ladies and gentlemen,
you're right side up.
Fans of First Question, as Dominic has said, the thousands out there that listen to us rant inebriated. We have just had her first live action miracle on there. We have solved technology.
Yep, come to us for all your tech needs, except don't.
It was my virus protection. It was blocking my webcam for people spying on me.
Oh my God. I love it.
Which is great. Which is fine. That's fine. But
oh God.
Oh my God.
Here.
Teeny tiny orgasm, guys.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, and it's on Valentine's Day.
Cue the lady going, I'll have what she's having.
Yes.
Oh, chicka bout wow.
Oh my God.
And for those of you who are new listeners, Sarah and I are siblings. But not in the Mormon Utah sense.
No, not in the Arkansas sense. Not to
Not in the
malign anyone
Kentucky
that
sense.
may or may not listen to us that may or may not live in Arkansas. But
That's
not in the
Does
redneck sense.
Arkansas
How's
even
that?
have Wi-Fi? Never mind. I'm not going into it. So back into the murder of Barbara.
This is Frizzle 92 says, if we go by the police's comments as the main suspect, even if it's a true statement, had their phone off for a full 24 hours, we'd immediately rule out Allie, Conway, and Madison. Plus, Allie can be ruled out by the school secretary. Confirming her check-in and speaking to Barbara, Jill has an alibi of leaving town by 4 a.m. for a road trip, unless it was multiple women from the gifting tables. I just don't know that a middle-aged woman could drag a 160-pound body from point A to point B. I also don't know that a member's husband would kill her by stabbing her 20 times. That's a little much for just taking your money and putting it in a pyramid. I don't know about that last part. Everything else is really solid to me, but
yeah, everything else seems solid.
Though
Yeah.
I don't think Barbara was necessarily dragged.
That's possible. She could have just been killed where she was.
Right. I think she could have tried to run away
Also,
and she
the same,
died
right?
where she lay.
Yep.
But if it's somebody from the gifting tables, I think it's someone that Barbara brought in, not
That's
someone
true.
that was already well established. Jill had the super creepy comment that we'd still be doing this if Barbie hadn't died.
Right, like it was an inconvenience or something.
Right.
Poor us.
Like I said, we'd still be doing this gifting tables if it wasn't for that pesky murder.
That pesky murder.
We sit there and say she wasn't dragged, but excuse my meanness, I sit here and think of Boondock Saints and William Dafoe's line of, you see this in bad television. What's to say they didn't distract her? You can make the argument that this is second-degree murder. It was an argument gone wrong.
True.
There's a lot of passion here. Multiple stab wounds. But what's to say if we're looking at the gifting tables, or we're looking at douchebag McGillicuddy, the husband, Joffrey. What's to say this wasn't first degree and we're going to distract her? And
distract her from what?
From like
keeping her away from the road.
Oh, gotcha. But then wouldn't that mean that there would be more than one person there? Or are you thinking just like one person?
No, I'm thinking this is not planned out. I'm saying this might be something that was planned out for a little bit.
Okay, gotcha.
Keep her away from the road. What's to say this wasn't garbage day? What's to say?
Well, we should look that up and see.
Well, okay, I get what you're trying to lay down, but I feel like if it was planned, it would have been planned better. And they wouldn't have just left her in the middle of the fucking yard.
True.
Once again, let's look at the fucking cancer that's been in my brain for 3 weeks of Chris Watts. That was first-degree murder, and that was very poorly planned.
Well, no one ever said that Chris Watts was smart.
True. Joopy6493 says...
Episode title, put it in the file.
Put it in the fucking title.
What you got for us, Joopy?
Says, I think Allie did it, and the dad knows about it. Don't think Connie is stable enough to go through a murder and continue functioning, but do stable people murder people? That's my question.
If we're looking at stability and murder, Connie clearly has more screws loose than a cuckoo clock that's been through a San Francisco earthquake.
Whoever said that she's functioning.
True.
With that said, finish Joopy's comment.
Yeah.
I can understand the hitman via the father or someone scorned by the gifting tables, but I don't think they would cover the body. Seems personal. Fuck, I don't know. And that's why I said, Matt, be honest. Did you write this last comment?
No, I did not. That was not me. A couple bowls in, a couple beers in, having a good time, just being like, let's make this more interesting. I don't want to go down those rabbit holes.
Yeah,
I'm already insane enough. The cushions over the body does raise a few questions. Because that's a very odd detail. If it was a hitman,
Why would they do that?
Sarah,
Unless
Throw
it was-
you off the track.
Yes, I was just going to say unless it was.
It's a red herring.
It could be.
Sarah,
it could be
your head
Scooby-Doo
was
rules,
about
yeah.
to explode like
It
the
did,
dude
because
from
I was
Scanners.
like,
Thank you.
Matt, you were talking about a distraction. Here's the distraction.
The
Everybody thinks it's family
distraction.
because they're like, let's cover it because someone who actually knew her would be all, let's cover up what I did. I'm ashamed of it. But
true.
if
That's
it was
true.
some contract killer, he knows all this shit and he's like,
Okay,
let's throw them off.
I can
Possible.
say this. Yes.
Go ahead.
First question.
First question.
Hey.
So looking at someone like Haddon Clark,
Yeah.
the
Why?
serial killer,
I know.
who takes responsibility for that unsolved murder, who people think it's the lady from one of the extras from Jaws.
Okay.
What's to say, Dominique, I see you there with your halo, getting to where I'm going. I appreciate it. How many different, here's the first question. How many different theories coming down are going to affect this case? Who's to say somebody who gets convicted 10 years down the road doesn't say, I was responsible for this?
That's
Well, they
possible.
probably will because they're like, well, what do I have to lose? I want to look like a bigger badass. It's all a fucking lie. Look at what's his nuts.
Henry Lee Lucas.
Yes, that guy.
Yes,
he
Henry-
said he
yes.
killed everybody, and I'll bet he maybe killed 5 people.
Yeah, and not like the 75 or whatever that he's taking
Right,
credit
that's
for.
bullshit.
How many people do you think are going to take credit for this because of the
12.
unsolved?
Exactly 12. Yes, I agree. I don't
12.
know.
Yeah, you have the sideways swiper, you have the ball dangling killer, you have Spanky McGillicuddy.
I'm sorry, this guy's got so many fucking nicknames at this point.
Yeah.
And you have Dick Out 9 right there. Makes sense, but it's one of those things, all these unsolved cases.
So like who?
Any of these confessions actually hold weight.
But it seems like whoever really did this is doing everything they fucking can to not have it pinned on them.
Right, which is why I think it's a professional.
Exactly.
Someone who is hired to make it look like an amateur did it.
It's possible, and it is interesting that the
Takes
police
so much
say
work.
that someone's phone was off. Okay, are they lying to deflect? Are they being honest? Because if that's so, this person could have a point. Mrs. Freswell could have a point. Their phone was off for 24 hours. Then we know that that's not the case for Connie, Allie, or Madison. That would rule them out. But are they doing that just to throw us off of who the killer could be? Because the police are allowed to lie about shit like that.
But
Yeah.
But with all this theory and all this in-depthness of the contract killer, and that also leads into the people thinking it was Connie or it was Allie or it was Madison. Sometimes the correct answer is the easiest in front of you.
That's absolutely true.
So
And-
what's the easiest answer, Matt?
Yeah, tell us.
Reptilians.
Oh, fucking course. Why do we have?
No, the easiest
So full
answer.
of shit.
Clearly, it was the cabal between Keanu Reeves and the killers of Princess Diana that links all the way back to Queen Elizabeth II and somehow all the way back to Marco Polo, with also links them to the reptilians and the Nordics and the contract of 1937. And I just keep going and no one's stopping me.
My
Second
brain's
question.
broken.
Have you been reading QAnon shit?
Exactly.
No,
Because that is a slight step to that.
No, I just
Exactly.
created a better story than most people believe in Scientology.
Yeah, that's kind of true, though.
Yeah, you're not
I
wrong.
mean,
If you look at, this is what divides this case when you really look at it.
Yeah.
You can have the people who want to say the answer's in front of us. It's the easiest answer we can find.
well, but
And you have people
statistically,
being,
you're right. Occam's razor, the most likely answer is usually correct.
I don't know how many Reddit cases looked at this as well, but
Yeah.
what's to say the fucking Sons of Anarchy wannabe cops?
Yeah,
If
right.
you had an actual police department who did
Oh my God.
actual work and didn't want to be Jack's teller,
I know.
Just
Because
crack
they
the case. It was the cop biker gang.
It was the biker gang.
That's why the whole thing has been so poorly mismanaged, because the cop biker gang did it. The Madison police officer biker gang killed her.
This is it.
This is why it's been so poorly mismanaged and handled.
Let's just say this case isn't the perfect storm of just straight out blunders, and finally because someone gives a shit enough about a victim. And we look at the Bundy case, we focus on Bundy. We look at Jack Unterweger, and we focus on the insanity that was him. This case really focuses on the victims, and when you look at the documentary, you feel a very big heartfelt towards Madison about how much he loved his mother.
That's true.
We can really say here, on a public scale, in the modern decade where we have so much crap going on, this is a huge injustice. There's a lot of dropped balls here.
Right. Because there were so many dropped balls, that's why it leads me to think that people got paid off. Like that much incompetence.
Okay, but is there not oftentimes a lot of incompetence with the police?
Oh, yeah, but the fact that they fucked every single part of this case up. Like, I can't think of anything that they did properly.
Wait.
It's
they
one
put
thing
their shoes on the right feet.
Yeah.
Give them credit. They did the loop, swoop, and pull.
But your almost 2-year-old niece can put her shoes on the correct feet. So I am thinking that the cops should be able to do that. I'm talking about just the investment. You don't get a cookie.
Compared to your daughter, my 2-year-old niece, she is smarter than those cops. Your daughter realizes things that go vroom are fun. These cops decide that things that look suspicious means let's run meth and wear chaps.
But they do like things that go vroom. Can we just give them credit? So you are saying, I'm sorry, you're saying that these cops put on a bunch of leather like Tobias Funke and then got on their bicycles.
Yes.
Bicycle.
With all the dumbass protection. Because if you look at their interviews, they are dumber than people who thought Chris Gaines and Garth Brooks were different people. They're sitting there riding around in their helmets.
Are you telling me that Miley Cyrus is also Hannah Montana?
What? Stop. I mean, I don't know if I'd even give them that much credit.
I don't know if they did anything right. They didn't collect evidence.
They probably went on the crime scene and went, look at this. Another person who decapitated and fornicated with themselves.
Yes.
So Allie's a rule out.
As far as we're concerned, yes.
As far as we're concerned, and that's what Reddit has decided too. Why was Allie ever a suspect is something people have been asking on Reddit. And they're like, I don't know that she was. She was just there to tell her story. Conway was the only one pointing to her as a suspect. And like Sara said, Conway said something about how Allie acted when they found Barbie. Look, first and foremost, I hate when people are like, oh, well, they didn't act like an innocent person should act. Great. How would you act if you found your mom dead? Tell me right now, how would you act?
Yeah, how are you supposed to act when you find your mother dead?
There's not a textbook for this. Is there a handbook?
We can watch all the horror films or true crime shows in the world, but being face to face with a dead body that gave birth to you.
Oh my God.
How are you supposed to act?
Well, especially after Allie went through what Allie went through. Because she was in the hospital because of the perpetual anxiety attack her father was giving her.
Right.
She lost like half of her weight and almost died. So, of course, in the back of my mind, I would be like, well, I don't want to overreact because they might put me back in the hospital.
Oh, God, yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Because that's where my brain is.
Yeah, think about how many thoughts your brain goes through, both conscious and subconscious, when you come upon any situation.
Oh, yeah.
For fuck's sake,
Right.
you get a flat tire, there's that subconscious point in your brain that just sits there and goes, well, serial killer.
It is very rare that we act without thinking.
Yeah.
We as a species.
There's always thought, subconscious or not. And so face to face with someone you argued with, someone you fought, but you still loved because they were your mother, and there's their dead body in front of you, your first thought's going to be the last thing you said to them.
More than likely.
So any reaction from that person, and you want to judge it, that's
it's ridiculous.
There are some cases where the reaction of the eventual convicted murderer.
Look at someone like Stephanie Lazarus, who got away with the crime for like 30 years, and she's so dissociated from it that she's basically convinced herself she didn't do it. Like even she, when she was being interviewed by the cops 30 years later, not right after the murder happened, eyes dilate, her breathing changes. There are telltale things that you can look at. But yeah, telling someone this is how you should feel when you discovered that your mom was dead, or this is how you should respond when you're being interrogated by the cops because they think you've killed your mom. There's no appropriate way to behave.
And when you act appropriately.
Right.
People thought for a while that Suzanne Smith, someone actually kidnapped her kids.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
She didn't drown them. No.
Right.
No. Hey.
Yeah,
I will stand by the thing that I put in our group chat that Dick has caused more death in the history of man than anything else.
You are not wrong.
Yeah, I think
you are correct, sir.
Correct.
Dick is the leading cause of death.
I like that.
That is not wrong. That needs to go down as one of our best quotes. I don't know if we can put it on a t-shirt per se.
I like it. Let's do it. I would wear it.
I mean, I would too. I just don't know how much trouble we may or may not get into.
Yeah, that's true.
You just gotta get really super famous. That's all.
Yeah, that's true. And then we won't get in trouble. If this week's events has taught us anything, we can do whatever and we won't get in trouble if you're famous enough.
Yeah. We won't. If the Senate ever has a hearing, Mitch McConnell will not vote.
Right.
No,
we just have to be Republicans.
Sit there and take our checks because God forbid anybody gets money besides Mitch McConnell.
Right, exactly. And he'll make a solid argument.
Hairpiece will get angrier and chew on his testicles, so his Oh my God, if we want to talk about trumping somebody, watching Trump walk to the plane and his wife just fucking ghosts him.
Though I will say, I want to know what dirt Trump has on Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz, and Mitch McConnell.
If you are not taken away by a black van, does that mean we can discount everything you just said?
Exactly. So back to Reddit comments.
Yeah, back to Reddit.
We'll go to something slightly saner.
Let's go to something.
Okay, take us on there, Jack Sparrow.
That's about it for the Reddit series. Demo224 replies, in my opinion, anything related to the gifting tables can be ruled out. Rubbing someone out, particularly so that they can't partake in court proceedings, which would inflict major damage on an opposing party's interests, is a plausible motive. I think they meant to say isn't a plausible motive.
Yeah, you know what, dude? Yeah. Good idea, but you forgot a very major thing in American criminal justice.
Yeah.
It's called organized crime.
Yeah.
Rubbing out a witness or snuffing a boss happens. And that's why I want to look at the gifting tables, because Sarah, you brought up a great point. This was during the housing downfall.
Right.
Everyone was broke. This was one of the worst times we saw since the Great Depression. So telling someone, hey, if you give me $5,000, I can turn it into $40,000 in 2 weeks. Who's to say someone who's at the end of their rope who has that kind of money didn't do it? And then once it didn't happen, realizing that.
Which is why I think it might be one of the people that
from
Barbara
AA.
brought in from AA, because she started bringing in all of these people from her AA group And Jill was like, these are not the best people to bring in because we were trying to bring in people that had something to lose. We needed to make sure that we were bringing in people that if they lost $5,000 and they didn't make it back right away, it wasn't going to murder them, like literally. That's why it's like, if we wanted to look at this totally was an actual crime of passion, that's why I think it might be somebody that she knew from AA that in a fit of passion went, confronted her, chased her around the house, stabbed her, went, oh fuck, I killed her, and covered her up.
Well, you bring up a good point there with AA too, because the program's great for a lot of people who have issues. One of my good buddies is in the program for a decade, and it's done him wonders.
Mm-hmm.
But look at the time frame. Being in AA, breaking down, losing money. We don't know her sponsors. We don't know.
Well, that's why it's like, if it's someone that she knows from AA, it's someone that she knows that would probably know her house, and she probably hosted those parties at her house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
And if it was a professional, because my other theory is it was some professional, one way or another. If they're a professional, they would know how to get there.
Diving into the realm that is the international hitman theory. Mm-hmm. You know, people talk about this house being so far away and so off the beaten path. Mm-hmm. And it's weird to see a car down that way. International hitman probably has multiple cars.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
They probably rented a car under an assumed alias.
Sir, didn't you just come in 2 weeks ago and say you were Blast Hard Cheese?
That was my twin brother.
Yeah, that's my evil twin brother.
I think if it is quote-unquote solved, it's going to be something that's like, yes, you have a suspect, but because of this documentary, as great as it is to bring light to the case,
it muddies the waters.
Yes. It does.
Kind of, yeah. I think you're
not taking
right.
anything away from Madison.
He did a good job with it.
He did a great job, but you created the double-edged sword.
However, this is like a decade after he was like, fuck it, the police are never going to solve this case.
Agreed. He did what he could. If Payne Lindsay has taught us anything, is if you want to solve a cold case, do a fucking podcast on it, and then you start getting interested in it again. That's how we figured out who killed Tara Grinstead.
That's
and that
how we
case
figured
was
out the Golden
cold.
State Killer.
Yes. Golden State Killer too. Yeah,
Patton Oswalt's wife.
Yeah, which that documentary on HBO, if you've not checked
it out,
good. Was actually really good.
I haven't. I was gonna read that book.
I read the book. It was awesome. I think it is possible that it was Conway or Jeffrey, but I think most likely it was probably somebody affected financially, whether it be by the women's gifting tables or by Jeff. Maybe Jeff fucked somebody over and they felt like this was a way to get revenge. I don't think it could be Jeffrey. The only person that I'm seeing that's not completely ruled out in the family is Conway. I think it's probably somebody who had a financial connection either to Barb or Jeff through the gifting tables or his shady dealings. That's what I think. What do you guys think?
I really buy the Jeff shady business deals. I think with the timeline, the time in our history, especially in 2008, housing crisis, we were still dealing with updates on the internet. I remember at that time, even going to social media, it was Facebook updates where it was like Matt Hilligan's is, and you would make that status, and 5 minutes later it came up. So what to say that a divorce proceeding wasn't readily available? But money and investments do a lot. Money is one of the roots of all evil. So I think it was one of Jeff's shady investment dealers. Mm-hmm. The whole idea that it was Connie or someone from the gifting tables are good theories. If I'm going to rank them, it's business deals, gifting tables, and Connie. I could go off on so many tangents on this, but
true, we all could.
I'm not going to eat up all the time.
I think it's either somebody hired to try to get back at Jeff or to try to scare Jeff. And I wonder if the person was only supposed to go there and like scare her, and then it just kind of got out of control, or if the actual end game was murder. I could see it go either way that way, or I think it's somebody that she pulled into the gifting tables from AA that just didn't have the financial means like everybody else in the gifting tables that could have waited for that 40 grand.
And I think that's the underlying similar thread through all of our theories. That is a really good, finance is always a big motive for killing, but especially
at that time. That was the first major financial, maybe the second major financial crisis that we've had to deal with in modern history.
Of course, anybody can imagine being, fuck you, like I was trying to support you and help you, like I met you at AA, I was trying to help you, I believed you, and I lost this money, fuck you.
I trusted you. Exactly. Those people who go through AA, their sobriety is life.
Yes.
Right.
I trusted you with my life.
Exactly.
And you fucked me over. And that's why I was going into looking at the whole AA theory. Someone who fell off the wagon will never have the definitive answer on it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, probably. We'll always be left wondering what really happened, because there's always going to be doubt because the DNA is gone.
I agree.
And
on that note,
that's our coverage. I think I can say that, right? That's our coverage on the murder on Middlebeach.
Right. Go in the description and follow us on Patreon and like and rate us and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Dom, there was something I wanted to say, because following our chat and whatnot, thank you everybody who keeps showing our debauchery to your friends. And if we've corrupted you, I'm not sorry for that.
Nope, you're not sorry.
Molding and shaping minds. I have a degree in that, technically.
Yeah.
You do.
And I have a degree in covering it up.
And I have a degree in manipulation. So there you go.
Yeah. Please jump on any one of the Instagram, any of the Facebooks, Twitter. Definitely follow us on the Instagram. I would really like to do a douchebag of the quarter episode.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
With people we don't know about, that we actually have to delve into and read the news articles.
Maybe people should recommend to us.
Who's the douchebag in your community? Alpaca girlfriend, someone on her dance team got killed, and it's on Your Worst Nightmare on Discovery ID.
I think a listener suggestion one would be fantastic.
Give us suggestions. Here we are in February. It's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day and all that shit. Do you want to have our fans? And we do have a good number of fans from what you've told us. And it's an awesome feeling.
Yep, it is. Our listenership is going up pretty steadily, which is awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, let's give a minute to really thank them. Because that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It is really cool. It is really cool. Like Matt was saying, follow us on the things, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, join our Discord. If you reach out to us on Discord, I'm definitely going to say something, just because
for sure.
More fun that way. And same thing with Twitter.
But be involved. We want to hear from you. This is all DIY.
It is DIY. Help us keep the lights on. Help us keep improving, and give us your suggestions. And if there's any way that you feel you would like to contribute to the show, just reach out and let us know.
Oh, for sure.
We love every one of you.
Yeah.
The fact that you take an hour and a half a day to listen to us talking about true crime, that is one of the coolest honors ever.
And if we can make you laugh during this totally fucked up time that we're living in, hey, at least we can do that. Right.
I put us through the stoner test where I got baked as fuck and put on our show, and if I could giggle, then I knew people would want to listen to us.
I like that. That's like fucking wholesome as all hell. I love that.
I do lock people, well, I don't want to say lock people in the car, but I will be driving and I will turn on the podcast and make them listen to it while we're like
child lock on. You're like
basically
you're in the back.
And you know
listen
what?
to us.
I will always be thankful to this show because it helped me get a girlfriend. That was part of her screening process. I told her I had a podcast and she listened to it before she knew what to think of me.
Keep asking questions.
Make your own reality.
Let the facts be your answers.